Welcome back to the channel. It's Hasni Lakshminarayanan here. If in case you didn't know about me or the channel earlier, just to give a short introduction, I'm Hasini. I'm the founder of the First Step, and this is the first step where I interview young retrievers. I am a young nutritional ambassador for the government of Tamil Nadu, and the First Step is being supported by the CIT, the Chennai Institute of Technologies. So now, without further delay, let's welcome our guest for the day and move on with the interview. Now, to give a short introduction about him, he's 17 years old. He's joining us from Gurugram, Haryana, India. And something in specific, if I have to say, he is a social entrepreneur. He wants to create a social impact among the Gen Zs. And more specifically, if I have to say, he's the co-founder of the Rap and founder at FinZ. So let's hear more about him and his ventures. So let's welcome together, shall we? We have Kanav Batra today. Hi.
Hi, Asini. Yeah, looking forward to talking with you.
Yeah, me as well. So let's move to the interview. So let's start off with our very first question. So tell us about your organization, the startup FinZ.
Okay, FinZ, basically, the name came from the short form Finance for Gen Z, and the entire motivation behind this was to educate the Generation Z about personal finance, economics, entrepreneurship, even management. And we are doing this, and we plan to do this through courses we design, such as the Coursera courses, but a little diverse. For example, how to do finance for a startup as a high school student. Now, that's something you wouldn't find on a traditional Coursera website, and that's the kind of topics we cover. Then we conduct in-school sessions, we conduct competitions, and we try and post different content through our social media. So that was the main idea and the activities of FinZ.
That's incredible. So, as being just 17 years old, what really fascinates you about entrepreneurship? That's economics or finance, let's say, and why did you want to create a social impact, especially in between of the Gen Zs, which I believe is the rising tomorrow. So how did your venture start? Walk us through your journey of becoming a social entrepreneur.
See, being very honest, I wasn't the most aware student up until I guess a year and a half back, and I was just like a normal student, right? I studied to get marks and all that stuff. It sounds a little boring, but from there, I kind of made the switch. I believe at the start of 11th grade, and I realized that I could actually make an impact. And how did I do that? I made a LinkedIn account, and I saw all these students doing great impact, even as yourself, Hasini. And you would see students who are younger than me or my age creating impact in their communities, and it was very inspiring, at the same time motivating and eye-opening, and that kind of pushed me to take my own step. So I started my way through summer programs, then I went and I worked with other organizations, then recently a few months back I launched my own. So that was my journey. But regarding the disciplines and subjects, I have been interested since forever. Economics has been my passion since grade 4, actually. I remember, um, I think it was a book of Amartya Sen my mom had. And I couldn't understand a word the book said, but I would carry the book around everywhere like I was a junior economist. And that, just carrying that book made me feel like I was involved in that subject, in that concept, and helping people out. So the roots were seeded since when I was younger, but I think recently, in the past year, my interest has taken height to the next level as I've become a social entrepreneur.
I mean, I can definitely relate it to myself because, I've been brought up in a community of entrepreneurs and speakers. So it was something which was invested, but never really cared that much as to I want to, aspire to become like this one day. But then, yeah, I think it just struck at a point, felt like maybe this would work out for me, and the interest just showered all in once, and I guess that's how it worked for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed that the biggest question most people have is, you being a kid, what can you do? And I realized that age, see, in some places it can be a barrier, I agree. but in most places it isn't. It's an asset. As a student, you're able to make the mistakes, you're able to learn, and you're able to reach a point that some people reach at a later stage. If I'm doing my own venture right now, I'm getting a lot of knowledge and experience which I would traditionally get in my mid 20s. So I feel like holistically, I'm developing as a person while still contributing to my society.
Correct. That's again, you explained it beautifully. I can't, I have no words to add upon. Thanks for that. Moving on. So, you are also the co-founder of WRET. So, tell us about that. How does the organization function, and what are its aims? How has it been going so far, and what's your role as co-founder?
Yeah, so the organization is just called RAP. So the entire inspiration behind it was that we came up with the purpose initially, and then we thought every community of people we achieve our goal with, we would just say it's a RAP, and that's kind of how we came behind it. Okay, so the main acronym's definition is that a workers' rights awareness project, and it was basically a social impact project. Me with my team of 9 other fellows started as part of the Take the World Forward Fellowship by Learn with Leaders, which brings together MIT and Harvard. And in that, we came up with this project. We did a presentation, but we all knew that this could be bigger than just a fellowship project. So we took it outside, made it into a full-on non-profit, and yeah, that was the main motivation behind it. Now, its main purpose was to help the blue-collar workforce of India and Dubai, as some of our team includes people from there too. And basically, we would try to host webinar sessions with them, with students, hold shoebox drives to collect resources that we would then donate to their families, and through multiple angles, try to improve the livelihood of these workers, and also at the same time, try to make them aware of the policies and programs that already exist for there to help them. For example, in COVID, a lot of people lost jobs, but a lot of them didn't know about policies like the NREGA Act, which guarantees 100 days of work, right, and payment. Now, if people knew about that, their livelihood could have been a little better than it was in COVID-19, when they did not have the required funds to help their family. So I really think that our government is making these laws, making these policies, but they are reaching to the target market. And that's where RAP came in to kind of bring them together.
That's, that sounds really fascinating again, because yes, there are too much rights and laws, but I don't think that much people are aware about it. There are a lot of resources. Again, there should be someone to actually let know people that there is a cause as well. So yeah, amazing work, and all the best for it to reach out to more people. Moving on, brief about your case study, which you have been doing, the analysis of the implications of natural disasters on the Indian agriculture.
Okay, yeah, so this is very interesting. This is a research paper I'm working on through Youth Policy Collective. And it's actually a funny story. As I had just joined Youth Policy Collective, the organization was going through a bit of a reset. And one day I get a message that you're the chairperson. I'm like, what? Why? And I'm not the most qualified, being very honest here. I wasn't the most qualified then, but it was more so the passion I showed, and I was my chairperson. Then I took lead in this project. And basically here, what we're doing is we're looking over the past two decades, 20 years, and we picked 2 disasters: the Bihar floods and the floods of 2008, I believe. And what we're doing is we're trying to see the implications of that on the economy, on the people, on how it affected the general community. And it's a full case study based analysis. There isn't the most primary research, as our team was working on their first research paper. But yeah, this paper was more so an introductory paper, and I keep it very close to my heart, as we spent 1 year working on it, and it's actually about to be published in 2 days. So hopefully that works out pretty well. Yeah, we're trying to get published in SSRN, the Social Science Research Network. So it'll hopefully get published in a few days.
Wow, that's incredible. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That sounds really exciting. So I would love to also read about it. Because again, social is like my most favorite subject, which I just love it. So for me personally, I just found it very interesting. Now moving on. So as you mentioned a little earlier, the society is built up in some way where there's always a question aroused where they ask, what can a 17-year-old possibly do? You being an asset, being 17 years old, you've done a research, you run multiple organizations, you are involved in various things. So do you think kids, that's, I won't say kids, rather teens, I would say, or the youth of today are capable of doing researches? Or do you think how can they possibly create an impact? Because I personally have been on the other side couple times, have seen so many youth creating huge impacts upon Gen Zs. So yeah, what are your thoughts upon the same?
See, in my mind, it was always about awareness that how many people know that they can make an impact. I feel like every house, see, that's the line from Shark Tank. I saw that every house is an entrepreneur. But in similarly, I think that in every house, there will be a change maker. And that change maker will most likely be a teenager who is still growing up and is acknowledging the problems in society as there are, acknowledging the benefits that are available, and wants to take advantage of them to create an impact that benefits maybe himself, herself, or the society they're in. And I genuinely think that if the right awareness and if you're able to find out that you can make an impact, that more students will start making an impact in that perspective. Also, age is not a barrier. I'm a firm believer that being 17, 14, 15, 16, 17 will make you any less of an entrepreneur than somebody who's in their 20s. It just depends on how you execute it. There's a saying that us Indians are great, us Indians are phenomenal at ideation, but we are not that good at execution. And I feel like teenagers who are just getting introduced to these problems may not be so absorbed by the complexities of it and be able to find better execution strategies, but they will definitely need some guidance to get it through. But I think that students are the future, and in the next decade, 5 years, you will see a lot of students are having their own startups. Even LinkedIn now, every day somebody has a new startup, and I'm so happy as the community is growing and getting wider, and you see all these kids making impact, going on Shark Tank, getting recognized by UN, and it's phenomenal, honestly. But I can only see it growing.
Right. I wrote this article. I, was relating to this the other day where few generations back, business was never considered as a career. 10 years later, then, people they were in risk. I mean, not parents were actually supportive as to they should send their children to study for a business or, well, yeah, let me move on to the next question. So, not only this, but you're involved into various other things, as I already mentioned. So, what are other projects which you're currently working on?
See, a lot of my other projects surround around my creative outlook. I'm a big writer, even though I don't publish a lot. I love writing. It's probably the one thing that got me into every single other thing I'm doing. I started off with Youth Policy Collective. The idea of writing research papers, that's what got me into it. So that has been a core value of mine, and through that, I am the vice president of a writing club called the Scribble Society. And basically, it's a community where we bring in budding writers and we review each other's work. We publish it on social media, and yeah, that's the gist of it. That's one. Besides that, I am planning to start a school club. It is a bit complicated, but which is tricky to start a club in school. But it's called the Socratic Club. The idea came from a summer program I was in, and basically we analyze Socratic dialogues, we have critical discussions, and it stimulates critical thinking among students our age. So these are some projects that I am involved in, besides the ones I just mentioned, but they focus a lot more on my creative outlook, as I think that is equally as important as what I might follow professionally or academically.
Right, that's amazing. That's incredible. And best of luck for you to do more. Now,
Thank you.
let's talk about, we know you as a social influencer, as an entrepreneur, as a very enthusiastic person, which I can see. Apart from that, what do you like doing, which most people are not aware about? What are your other hobbies? What do you do apart from studies? And also adding on to that, how do you manage time? Now, this is again a personal question because me being 14 right now, I want to learn from someone like you as to how I should manage time, and also to other people out there, just not youth or teenagers, but to, just in general.
Okay, you see, I'm going to laugh when I answer this because I'm horrible at time management. I'm not the right person to learn from here. But the one thing I do, I think it's a quality that it might show in my work, but I like to say it a lot is I'm a hustler. I will work day and night if I'm committed to something. Now, if you, I can do a meeting at 2 a.m. in the night or 5 a.m. in the morning. That it doesn't affect me. It's just if I'm able to get the work I'm trying to do done, then I'll pursue it till the end. So that's I feel like a quality of me that might not be portrayed on a platform like LinkedIn or through an interview, but it's something I like. It really shows in my work. Also, I'm a big basketball fan, like a very big basketball fan. Like NBA is like I love it. I think there was a time I wanted to be a basketball player for three different teams at the same time, and I realized I couldn't play on a single one of them as I wasn't good enough. But still, again, a sport that taught me a lot, not just to have fun, but leadership and all these various skills you might learn through a sport: teamwork, perseverance, grit. So yeah, that's another interest I have. And yeah, I think writing is something I don't portray enough, but I write a lot. I think I was in the plane yesterday itself, and everybody's sleeping. I think it was around 2 a.m. and I'm writing. I was working on a story. So the one thing that people don't know about me is I work at very odd times. If people might be studying at like 4 p.m. after school, then their tuitions, then they study a little more. I will probably sleep, and at like 2 a.m. I'll pick up my laptop and start studying. I tend to work at very odd times, and that makes me kind of a necrophiliac. I work better in the night.
Well,
That's
I can definitely relate to the same because I am also a night owl rather than a morning person. So yeah, I do work at odd times. Again, I think we're just used to it more being everything online, and then you can just sleep and wake up as to whenever you want. But now I
and we
think,
teenagers. And we
yeah,
teenagers. This.
right. So I mean, yeah, it's again teen stuff. But yeah, moving on. Who's your inspiration? As you mentioned, you have learned a lot from NBA, but then
See,
some person who's
some
influenced a lot.
person. I feel like I have. See, that's a long answer, but I have three inspirations for three different things. If I have from my work ethic, from who I want to be from a career standpoint, I look at my mother, as she has the most amazing work ethic I've ever seen. Like she's always committed to her work. She's working day and night, and I feel like I really want that quality from her, that commitment to my work. So she's one person I look up to in terms of work ethic. When I look into in terms of professionally, I would say someone like Abhijit Banerjee. He is the Nobel Prize winner for economics since 2019, and yeah, I even read his books. I really enjoy his work, even his interviews. He's a very charismatic guy, and I feel like I want to be at a place where I'm able to sit in an interview and talk about the world's economy. So that's probably another of my inspirations. And the third and final one was through basketball. I think it would have to be someone like it's very common, but someone like LeBron James, as again he's a very much loved player. But to see someone who has to maintain the pressure of being really good at something for so long and just to thrive under pressure, that's a quality I really take away from him.
That's amazing, and I hope you do get an opportunity someday to um, achieve everything you desire and speak about the world economy. Again, I love economy, so
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, moving on. One last question. So, what are your future plans? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now, or even 5 years, 15 years, however you want it to be? And then, if there is one thing you would like to change in this society, what would that be?
Yeah, I've pretty much answered the first question to every uncle and aunt I know. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Yeah, I think I see myself doing the work I love. Hopefully, somewhere in corporate economics, that's where I want to end up. graduated from a nice college, probably done a few research papers, worked with great minds, and had an opportunity to put myself out there on a platform where I can grow and just get better and better at what I'm doing. And sounds very vague, but that's pretty much what I want to be. Going a little more technical, just be financially stable would have made an impact. Yeah, that's actually one of my biggest things. I really want to make an impact. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I want to be say that to just support that a little more. As initially you might receive some resistance, and to some people it might seem that it's just because you want to get into a good university, you're doing these projects and these startups. But I really think that they can help improve teenagers or students' academics too. They're working on extracurricular projects. So maybe allow even my age or even your age to balance both extracurricular and academic equally, and not just give weightage to one over the other. That's one thing I would like to improve on.
Yeah, I mean, that's yet again, that's something which I always wanted to let know people, and I'm glad that people are ready to pass it on. So yeah, thanks for that. And I'm pretty sure that you're already creating a social impact, and you are also doing what you love. So yeah, all the best. Thank you so much for being here today. And yeah, it means a lot, and it was an honor interviewing you. I hope you had fun in as well, and I hope the people watching enjoyed it too. So if you did, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Also click on the bell icon for further updates from the first step. And with that, signing off, this is Kanav and Hasni here. I'll see you next week. Bye.